So this is our third video on portraits. The first video was designed for us to get it set up. And if you need to go back and watch that video again, do that. We drew the oval, the egg-shaped oval. We drew these guidelines, and then where they go is explained in that video. This helps us get set up. I drew these lines heavy so you can clearly see them, but you don't have to push down that hard, just so you can see it. Of course, we're using pencil. This is my AOC portrait I've been working on based on this photograph. Remember, whatever you choose, the person should be looking right back at you, and just the neck up is all you need to do for this. If you have colored pencils or some other materials you'd like to use to colorize it, that's fine. Otherwise, just a basic pencil portrait is just fine. I've gotten fairly far with this one. As you can see, I've made tons of little modifications. I'm starting to kind of shade and fill in the hair and create light and shadow in certain areas. I did the lips here, and there's lighter and darker areas of the lips. And you can get into that, but that's kind of the last stage. For today, I want us to pick up where we left off. The last lesson, you were to have practiced these different facial features, the eyes, the mouth, the nose, and give a shot at the ears if it calls for it in your portrait. So now let's take that practice and apply it to our portrait. Okay, so when you get here and you feel comfortable getting started with the facial features, I think a good place to start is right here. We've determined that this is where the nose goes. It's halfway between the eyebrow line and the chin line. So if we measure that, yep, that's halfway. You can use your pencil if you want to be real precise about it. But this is about where our nose goes, okay? And that's consistent from person to person. Now, from there, noses look a lot different. So I usually do kind of a U shape here. And then out by the nostrils here, they're not circles either. The nostrils are more oval shaped like that. And then once you've got that, you start up. And you know that this is going to go up to the eyebrow line. So don't go into the center line here. That's kind of the midpoint of the bridge of your nose. And so then I just kind of curve and then curve back out here and keep it going, and your eyebrows go like that. And again, eyebrows can be different. They can be thicker, thinner. You got to be working from a photograph so you can make those distinctions. Then let's do the other side. And here again is another example of symmetry. For the most part, the two left and right sides should be very similar. This distance should be about the same as this distance, for example. Okay, and then we come out here, and again, eyebrows like that. This is how we get going. All right, so now that we know where the nose and the eyebrows are, let's not get into all kinds of detail. We can fine tune it later. Certainly not finished product, but let's do the eyes. So we determined that the eyes are in the middle of the head. So if we measure here and here, it's about midpoint. Okay, so another trick I can show you is the distance in between your eyes is equal to the width of your eye. So this distance, about where your eye would start. Sometimes you just got to make a decision, and it goes about there. Well, now I know my eye is going to be about that wide too. So this, and this are about the same on most of our faces. If you want to look in the mirror and find that out for yourself, you may. And you'll find that that is, in fact, about the case. So that goes to there. And if I go here, 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 that goes to there. I know that these videos are a little bit long. The last one from the last class was about 12 minutes. And I try and keep them short, but sometimes we've got a lot to cover. We're spreading this portrait assignment out over many class periods, as you probably already can tell. And so there's no hurry. I want you guys to do a nice job on this. So we're going to spend extra time on it. So if you take a look at the eyes I've drawn, they're not done, of course, but I drew the basic shape. This distance is the same as that distance and that distance. And that's going to be another guideline to help you get the eyes the right size and get them in the right spot. Then remember, like the practice we did, these are perfect circles. your iris is a perfect circle. Some students kind of go like this and like that, but I recommend really doing that circle there, right there. We're assuming that our eyelids are going to come on top of this, but we can draw our pupils then. That's what we see out of. And then the eyelid, where our eyelashes are, goes over that. Okay, so I'm just drawing a generic face. I'm not drawing AOC, but I am just getting the basics down. Like eyelashes, like I'm doing right here. You don't have to do them right now. That would probably come later. I just kind of doodle, and I think like a lot of you guys, you just kind of draw what you feel like drawing. But this is the basic thing. So now we've got the basics for the eyes and the nose. This looks a little sleepy. The lower this eyelid line goes down, the sleepier they look. And then the higher up it goes, the more wide awake they look. Little trick there. You can fool around with that. Okay, so now the mouth. Well, we know that, like if we look at this example, that distance right there isn't very big. Well, what could I compare it to? Well, it's a little bit wider than the width of the lips, but sometimes you got to just guess. And so I would say that right about here is the top lip. And you can draw a line. When I showed you the other day, that's what I did. You could draw a line here, say there's the top lip. And the lips go out wider than the nose, certainly, right? Our mouths are wider than the width of our nose. So we know that our lips are going to go further than this. So we go out maybe to there. And you have to be working from a photograph to really get this accurate. And then our top lip is like that and like that. Okay, now if you need more practice, go for it. And then remember I said the bottom lip is usually a little thicker this way. Kind of goes up and down there. And I'm just doing someone with a closed mouth. In the last video I showed you how to do both closed and open. Okay, all right, so from there now I can see these lips are maybe a little bit high. They should probably be further down. But anyway, that's roughly where you want those to be. If you're going to draw ears, let me show you that quickly and then we'll wrap it up here. Then you can say that the ears go up about to the eyebrow line. Let's look at AOC here. Look at that. And there's the top of her ear. So it's a little bit lower maybe, but just around there. Look at your photograph that you're working off of and decide. And then they come down. And, you know, they don't come down as far as the nose. So I would stop before the nose. A thing I see students do a lot, they make tiny little ears. They kind of go like this. You know, they don't stick out that far and they're much longer than that. This is a weird looking ear, but ears look weird usually until you really start drawing them. You don't sometimes realize how weird they can be. But here's a basic ear, a generic ear. And then of course, I want them to be about the same. And they kind of go out and in. And then in the middle, there's this out and in. And then there's a little area here. And that's usually in some shadow because it's the fold underneath your ear there. So that's a little area you could eventually get around to shading. Play around with this. There's no substitute for just experimenting, erasing, trying it again, trying a different sheet of paper and playing around with it. Then you can kind of draw in the hairline. And of course, again, everybody's got different hair. I don't know, what about if I drew my hair in there, something like that. It's getting longer. I haven't had a haircut in a long time. Neither of you guys either, I bet. But this is where you get into, well, what kind of hair is it? And I'm doing long, stringy hair. But there's, of course, any number of ways you can draw the hair. I wouldn't obsess over it too much, but get it the way you like it. And this is an easy thing to go over and redo, but notice how I'm doing it lightly. The neck kind of comes down like that from the outside of the eye, and there you go. Okay, so there's a basic generic face. You can start adding in kind of details that help you. Look at your photo, take things one at a time. Maybe there's a shadow down here under the chin, depending on the light source. Just guessing. But there you go. And right now my hair is kind of getting down like this, so Maybe it goes like that a little bit. Later you can erase and get rid of the guidelines when you've got it the way you want it. Okay, so the assignment isn't, we've been doing, this is the third day of just working on this. So I want you to try and finish your portrait and post it to Seesaw within the next 2 days. That means you've had over a week to work on this and create something that you're happy with, that you're proud of, that you can turn in. Okay? You can really spend a lot of time shading in and filling things in. Little details like this come later, but and your eyes kind of go like that. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a light blue colored pencil and you want to give them blue eyes? You could do that. But you don't have to. You could just do a straight up pencil portrait. Okay? So work on this, see where it goes, and then email me or message me through Schoology with any questions you have. I want to see what you guys come up with this for this portrait assignment, and good luck with it, and spend the time necessary to make something that you're really happy with.